Hi, everybody. I know it's late. It's about midnight. We just finished a special board meeting about an hour and a half ago, but I'm still here trying to wrap things up. So I know you're going to get this first thing in the morning, but there's a number of things I just wanted to go over. I wanted to make sure most of you hear this before you hear it outside of the school or out in the community. Okay. So let me run down this list quickly. If you have any questions, any concerns, by all means, feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever you got to do, okay? And I'll do my best to explain. So, the construction project, all right, it's really in full mode right now. We've got a number of construction workers in the main building. They're in the basement, they're in the gym, and they're also upstairs working. So, it's creating a unique setting here that some people are not too comfortable with. So many workers in and out of the building, upstairs, downstairs, just a lot of activity. So it's going to play a role in a couple of the other things I'm about to mention here. But bottom line is, the architect has indicated that he really doesn't expect the new construction as well as the renovation to the existing building to be finished much before October. So we're kind of looking at like a November 1st date that everything might be done. Logistically, that creates a little bit of a nightmare because we have to keep the current cafeteria operating until the new cafeteria gets done. If you notice, the second floor science room is about to become a family consumer science room, but the two science teachers cannot be moved into the new building until their two classrooms are ready. So the whole thing backs everybody up, and obviously we have no idea what's going on for September yet. So much speculation as to what might be the scenario, what might not be the scenario with kids, and especially you, staff. So we've got to take everybody into consideration. But bottom line is, without guidance from the governor, we really don't have any idea what September is going to look like. So maybe, who knows, this could be a blessing in disguise that we'll still have remote learning, distance learning, September and October. I don't know. But if we have to come back here, we're going to have to do a little bit of dancing to make things work as they come into the final stretch with the project. All right. Next thing I want to tell you, you may hear some information about our district becoming a target district. We've been identified by the New York State Education Department as a target district. Some of our data, some of our student test scores, not where it really should be. We think we've isolated it to specific groups of students, but this is going to be a long-term project and really a district-wide project to identify a lot of data through surveys. We'll be forming a data team to try to evaluate the surveys, to try to evaluate student data, and to try to get us to a point where we go from good to great, all right, which I think is always our goal. But we not only want to come off that target list, which could take about 2 years to get us off of there. We have to show continual improvement. Sorry, to get off that list. But the big picture goal here is the whole district in mind. So if you hear anything about that, and you will start to hear that coming maybe out of the board meetings, and if you want to participate on that data team, it also ties into the Middle States accreditation goal with student achievement, college and career readiness as well. Okay. Distance learning, we put out a survey to the community, and we got a lot good feedback. One of the items identified was that we have a few students and families that don't have internet service. So we have been working, or Mr. Sharp, I should say, has been working diligently to identify a hotspot product that we could purchase with a significant data capability to provide to those students. The Bridgehampton School Foundation, which is a separate not-for-profit entity that operates separate from this school district has received some generous donations that they would like to use to pay for those hotspots. So Mr. Sharp, in conjunction with Mr. Miller, they have identified, and as well with the foundation, they've identified a Verizon hotspot product that can be purchased. I believe it's a 1-year subscription that we have to go with for each hotspot. So if you know of anyone, we only saw the survey numbers come in. We don't know the specifics. So if you know of any students and their families who need a hotspot, okay, we should have those ready in about 2 weeks. I realize that misses the boat on the regular school year, but it can certainly play a role for any students who will be in our special education 6-week program starting this summer. And it may even help families in ways I'm not even aware of this summer. But we do have our eyes set on September, especially if there's some component of distance learning that we have to maintain. At least those students who don't have internet service will have a means to get onto the internet. Okay. Next thing is graduation. So a lot of buzz going around here, and like I said, I try to speak from fact and not just hearsay. So Mr. Miller put together a great virtual session with our seniors. Some parents also participated in that session. It was a good question and answer session based on what we knew and what our ideas were in terms of administration and the board to holding a graduation ceremony. It also had input from the school attorney as to what we can and cannot do. I think it was a positive conversation, but the seniors certainly expressed their concern about it being more physical in terms of not being able to having to sit in a car with their relatives, and that they would be able to possibly bring more relatives than just their parents, so to speak. So right now, and I want to be careful how I say this, we're going to have another meeting with the seniors. All right, I believe Mr. Miller is going to schedule that for Monday. We're going to provide the seniors with some information that I believe will be helpful to them in terms of, and not to oversimplify this, but 14 circles, 14 12-foot circles, if you can imagine this, on the front lawn of the school. If we use the front door of the school as the center going out into that semicircle grass area, there would be approximately 7 circles to the left and 7 circles to the right. So there would be circles in the middle, or up front, and then there would be circles behind there. All right. All total, 14 circles, 12-foot diameter each. Each circle separated by 6 feet, which is the social distancing requirement. So you can see what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make a blended approach to this with the guidelines the way they are, and to try to make this work. We're going to advise the seniors that they could be allowed to have up to 10 people in that circle, including the senior themselves. All right, they're not going to be able to trade. If they only have 8 coming, they can't give the other circle 2. So it's a cap on 10. We're brainstorming ideas as to whether to have tables already there with 10 chairs, or do we allow the seniors to be more flexible in terms of bringing their own tables and chairs. I believe we're heading down the road where the district would like to provide that setup so that it's consistent. We're also thinking about 14 individual, if you can imagine, tailgating tents, so those square tents with the 4 posts that can be collapsed, folded up, put in a bag. We're looking at getting 14 of those tents to sit out there as well. If we can get them customized in some way, black, yellow, maybe with the logo on them, we might try to do that. But we don't have a lot of time here. Today's the 3rd, and the graduation's on the 20th. So that's the other idea, so that people don't have to sit out in the sun, even though it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which could be, in my opinion, the hot part of the day, or if it even starts to rain, at least there's some covering. Okay. In terms of other family or other friends who are not part of those groups of 10 in the circles, that's probably going to be a challenge because we don't really have any place for them to be here. The entire parking lot by the 20th will be dug up. It'll be nothing but dirt. So the only way to really get in and out of the school is through the circular driveway. And once the graduation ceremony is over, that semicircle driveway will most likely be where the seniors will line up with their cars, and they will be led on a parade through town or somewhere through Bridgehampton. The stage for the speakers will be right outside the front door onto the asphalt area that's actually blocked off with paint so that no one is supposed to park there, even though most people park there. So that's going to be the stage. Actually, it'll be a couple of feet off the ground, and then we'll have the podium up there, probably one person at a time speaking in terms of administrators, and I believe the board president speaks. We still have to work on the valedictorian, salutatorian speeches, how that's going to happen, and also how we're going to hand out the diplomas as well. So lots of questions to still be answered, but I think we're moving in a positive direction, and hopefully this will be a very memorable graduation ceremony. Okay, summer meal program. All right, so we've been under the governor's executive order to provide free breakfast and free lunch meals to students every school day, or every day actually, a weekday, since May 16th. That expires on June 30th. However, the governor has continued that executive order through the summer. We've interpreted that executive order as actually being optional because our district is not authorized as a summer school food service program. So we would have to apply to the state, in particular to the Office of Child Nutrition, to get approval to be able to offer meals at the school, and more importantly, to be reimbursed a certain amount for each one of those meals. So we made a decision to continue that summer meal program straight through the summer, all of July, all of August. Will it continue through September 9th, the day before school starts? I don't know, but I would think so. So that's going to be in motion. Big change though to that summer meal program. At least the four adults who have volunteered and graciously volunteered since March 16th, they are going to step back and they would like to see some of the students. We would like to see some of the students volunteer, especially those at the secondary level who need community service. So we're going to try to work on a program to allow them to accept the deliveries, which now are on a Wednesday, package up all the bags, the care package bags, and then be able to distribute them on Fridays from the school. Everything's a little bit interesting here because the cafeteria is actually going through semi-renovation right now. They need to do some work in the cafeteria to get pipes up into the science rooms, which are going to be the family consumer science room. Plus we've got radiators being taken out, univents. So to try to do a lot of this with perishable type foods is interesting. So I think we're going to move the food operation over to the music science building in the kitchen area over there. The fact that the parking lot's going to be dug up, we got to figure out then how to get the food, the care packages from the music science kitchen out into the semicircle on Fridays in a manageable way so we can distribute them. So I think the theme of the summer is just going to be logistics here as we try to work through all this. Summer camps. So our regular summer camp, the 4-week program that we typically operate in the summer, you may have heard either the governor or somebody mention June 29th. Summer camps are allowed to operate. I only heard that. I didn't see it anywhere, and nor did I see any guidance as to how those programs are supposed to be managed if students are supposed to be wearing masks, staff masks, groups of less than 10. I don't know. But the bottom line is we are not going to offer those programs this summer because mainly it's a safety concern. We've got so much going on here with workers and materials being delivered, trucks coming and going. I just think that added safety component on top of all the other guidelines we would have to follow would be dangerous, and it would also be difficult for us to try to accomplish it. So bottom line, we're not going to be offering the 4 summer programs this summer. Next, personnel. Okay, so I do want to acknowledge that we're going to be losing a very, very valuable staff member. Melissa Stiles, who has been our school business administrator for the last 2.5 years, will be leaving us June 30th to go west into Nassau County. No one more than me, as well as everyone else who's in this district office, is going to miss Melissa. It's going to be a tough position to fill. Melissa has been here for, I think it's over 7 years. Came here working our way through payroll, accounts payable, treasurer, school business official. So if there's one person here who knows how this business office operates inside and out, sideways, it's her. And so I just want to say thank you to Melissa, because she's been an incredibly devoted employee, great person to be around, and I think we're all going to miss her. So I will keep you updated on how we even plan to replace Melissa. It's one of those almost impossible tasks. But Melissa, we just wish you the best in your new position. The other person, I don't feel comfortable saying this right now, but I feel that we all need to know, and I don't even want to mention the employee's name, but there is going to be a teacher whose position will be going from a 1.0 full-time equivalent, we call that an FTE, down to a 0.6 FTE. It's in the music department, so tough decision to make. I don't want to get into the details. The number one reason, mainly financial, with the budget, and I'll just leave it at that right now. It's never easy talking about something like that, but I just feel I need to acknowledge it. I need to acknowledge that person's dedication, and that it's not a personal thing in any way. I mentioned the extended school year, so the ESY, special education program. It's going to be a remote distance learning per the governor's executive order. It'll start July 1st and it'll go to August 12th. So we have a few staff members who have graciously volunteered to work that program and get compensated, but it's not a mandatory thing for anybody to have to do. So we appreciate those people stepping forward, especially with this unique environment that they're going to have to provide curriculum and instruction. The other thing I got 4 more things to go here. So the CSEA, all right, the Civil Service Employees Union, represents mainly the non-instructional, some 10-month and 12-month employees. I believe we're very close in negotiations. Their contract expires June 30th. I believe we're very close to a 5-year contract, so we're staying focused on it, and then hopefully we will be able to accomplish that. Just so you know, too, we have 2 other employees at this district, and I also want to acknowledge a third. We have 2 employees at this district who are considered confidential employees. They're not part of a union, all right? They're appointed each year by the school board. So one of those very valuable employees is our district clerk, Tammy Kavanaugh, and the other very valuable person, important person too, just like Tammy, is our district treasurer, Simone. So those two people get appointed by the board each year. I don't want to get into too many specifics here, but their contracts typically follow the CSEA contracts. The third person, I continue to forget. We treat him like an employee. I feel like he really is an employee, and that is Sean Sharp. Although he really works for an outside company that we contract with through BOCES. So from time to time, I forget to acknowledge how valuable Sean is, and what he does to help every one of us every single day. So just a little shout out to three people who often get stuck in their own little spots because they're not necessarily represented by any particular organization. The BTA, so the Teachers Association negotiations, I think we made good progress on that as well. BTA agreed to a one-year rollover, which expires this June 30th. Hopefully, we're making good progress to have a contract in place for July 1st. I believe that'll be a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. Observations. I want to be careful here because I may make a decision very quickly, which is I'm hoping tomorrow, which is Thursday, Friday the latest. With everything going on here, we did our best to try to get observations completed in accordance with the BTA contract and the APPR that we have on file with the state. And this is only talk right now. So if you have a scheduled observation tomorrow, or you have a scheduled observation Friday, it will more than likely take place. But there's a possibility starting Monday, we may, if we are legally allowed to do this, and I don't know that yet, I have to speak to the attorney tomorrow. If we are legally allowed to do this, especially for untenured teachers or those with your initial certifications, I want to be careful we don't put you in any unique position that you do not want to be in. We may not do the remaining observations through the rest of the school year, okay? But we will keep you posted, and more than likely you will hear from the respective administrator who would be doing your observations, okay? The last thing is summer. So there are a lot of us who are working this summer, or at least a lot of us who are scheduled to work this summer. And we are going to do our best, or at least I'm going to do my best, to try to minimize the amount of time that every employee who is scheduled to work from now on campus, from now through the summer, your time on the property, I'm going to try to minimize it as much as we possibly can, all right? I know many of you are uncomfortable with all these contractors around here. Occasionally, they may not be following the social distancing guidelines. That's making some people feel uncomfortable. But really, just the general conditions of everything going on right now, a lot of people are concerned, and I want to acknowledge those concerns. So, we're going to try to create a schedule for all employees, mainly non-10 month. So if you work 10 months, this doesn't apply to you. If you're a 12-month employee, this would apply to you. It includes administrators. It includes the CSEA, okay, so anyone who's part of the CSEA. It includes the 2 confidential employees, and it includes the administrators as well. All right. So hopefully, if this applies to you, I would like to just more or less continue what we've been doing. I think everybody's done a phenomenal job of making this district continue to work seamlessly. Everybody's really stepped up to the plate when they've had to and get it all done. So I don't see any reason why we need to change it much, but I do want to make it official, and I do want to make it so that if anyone needs to come here, it's for a minimum amount of time. And that you come when you're comfortable. We keep observing the social distancing guidelines, and then you can go do the rest of your work remotely from wherever you may be. Okay, So my apologies for such a late night video, but I thought I'd do it so you hear it first. And as always, any questions, any comments, any concerns, suggestions, you have my number. Call me, email me, and I'll do my best to try to explain or answer your questions. Okay? All right. Take care.